What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Thursday, August 7th, 2025, and I have some breaking news to share with you guys. Right now it is 12:31 Eastern Time here in the United States, and we have some major breaking news coming in from Eastern Europe and from here in the US. So for some reason today and last night, we have U.S. nuclear forces on very high alert. So what you're looking at here is a flight tracker showing some strategic planes over the U.S. We have a high priority reconnaissance plane, an RC-135U combat scent airborne over New Mexico. And we also have a nuke sniffer airborne as well over Nebraska. We also have a B-52 nuclear bomber airborne over Georgia. So this is extremely unusual to have all of these planes up in the air at the same time. In addition to that, we have a second B-52 airborne over Louisiana right now doing loops. And we also have a reconnaissance plane flying north to south over Mississippi, right over the Mississippi River, which means that it's looking east to west for threats to the U.S., okay? And this combat sentinel plane is a high priority reconnaissance plane that sends intelligence directly to the president, and the nuke sniffer plane detects radiation in the atmosphere. Now, what's interesting is a couple of days ago, we had a combat sentinel flying this northeast to southwest loop over the Central Plains, which means it was looking down towards Cuba, potentially checking to see if there's any Russian missiles in Cuba like the Oreshnik. And we know that Russia said that they are going to start deploying short to medium range ground launched missiles. So this is very, very serious. And last night, we had some very interesting activity. We had a U.S. Navy sub-hunter off the coast of San Diego, and it was flying at just 375 feet in altitude and just 262 miles per hour at one point, which is just absolutely insane. And this was just southwest of San Diego. And these planes detect submarines underwater, okay? And in addition to the sub-hunter, there was also an E-3 Sentry in the area, so potentially there was some kind of enemy submarine here right off the coast of San Diego. And then also last night we had 2 nuclear war command and control planes airborne, and we had a sub-hunter off the coast of Florida as well. And this was very late at night, like almost midnight Eastern time. And also earlier this morning, we had a presidential doomsday plane fly from Offutt Air Base to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Now, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Dayton, Ohio, is considered to be like the Area 51 of the East. So doomsday plane, nuke sniffer, high priority reconnaissance plane, sub-hunter off of California, off of San Diego last night, flying just 375 feet above the ocean and at a very slow speed, which means that it was trying to zero in on a sub. 2 B-52 nuclear bombers airborne right now. We also have a sub-hunter off of Long Island, New York, and off of New Jersey right now as well. So something is definitely brewing. We just had a very long emergency action message or nuclear code that was transmitted by U.S. nuclear forces. There were a lot of nuclear codes transmitted yesterday as well. And we also had this British reconnaissance plane fly over the Black Sea, and we haven't seen this in a while. They don't really fly in the Black Sea that much anymore, but this one flew east to west along the entire Black Sea and looking north towards Crimea. So potentially they're collecting targeting information for the Ukrainians, or They're trying to see if Russia's planning some kind of big attack on Ukraine in the coming days. And we have some major breaking news coming out of Lithuania. So the drone that flew into Lithuania from Belarus a couple of days ago on August 1st, it actually crashed at some kind of NATO training area just outside of Kaunas. Kaunas is where the largest NATO contingent is located in Lithuania. This drone that crashed apparently had 2 kilograms of explosives, is what I'm hearing right now. According to Prosecutor General Nita Grunskini, the device appeared to be a modified Gerbera drone. The explosive charge was safely neutralized on site. The drone's remains have been collected for expert analysis and an investigation is underway. So we have this very small drone that could not be detected by Lithuania's radars, flew very low, and it flew over the capital of Lithuania. It flew right over Vilnius at just 650 feet. And this update was sponsored by EMP Shield. Guys, EMP Shield has created a special discount just for you, the listeners of the NYPrepper channel. If you go to empshield.com and use the promo code NYPrepper, you can get 15% off your entire order. And why do you need an EMP Shield? Well, this is a special device to protect your vehicle, your RV, your solar generators, your radios from an electromagnetic pulse, which could be caused by a solar flare or potentially a rogue country like North Korea detonating an electromagnetic pulse weapon over the United States that's mounted onto a satellite. So protect your vehicles, protect your RV, protect your radios, protect your generators with an EMP Shield. Use my promo code NYPrepper to get 15% off. Installation is super simple. This is a veteran-owned business, 100% American-made, and the EMP Shields have been tested by the military, okay? And free shipping is included to the entire continental United States. And the link and the promo code are in the description below this video. And then it flew to this NATO training ground and crashed, and it had several pounds of explosives on it, okay? So this is a violation of NATO's sovereignty by Russia, and obviously NATO's not going to do anything about it, but this is a huge escalation, okay? And we're hearing that Trump might meet with Putin and or Zelensky in the near future. Trump reportedly had a phone call with European leaders yesterday and Zelensky after his representative Steve Witkoff spoke with Putin. But we're now hearing some contradictory information coming out today, according to a White House official who said to the New York Post that Putin must meet with Zelensky for the meeting with Trump to occur, and no location has been set. So it looks like Trump will not meet with Putin alone. The conditions are that it has to be Putin and Zelensky and Trump, or Putin and Zelensky before Putin meets with Trump. But it looks like Trump is not going to meet with Putin on his own. He has to meet with Zelensky, according to a White House official. And Trump on Wednesday said he would know within a matter of weeks or maybe less whether Putin was serious about bringing an end to the war. And Reuters, citing a source close to the Kremlin, reported that Putin does not think it is time to end Ukraine's war. As his troops advance on the battlefield, Putin probably won't submit to Trump's deadline that expires on Friday for the sanctions, and that Putin is sticking to the goal of full control of 4 regions of Ukraine, okay? So a source close to the Kremlin is basically saying Putin is not going to stop. He's not going to surrender. So, you know, it's basically futile. All these negotiations, it's a waste of time. And Trump will decide in the next 24 to 36 hours on the possibility of imposing sanctions against Russia. This is being reported by Secretary of State Marco Rubio. And I want to mention that Russia has closed the airspace around the Kapustin Yar training area in southern Russia. This is where Russia launched their Oreshnik missile from when they attacked Ukraine last fall with this IRBM, which they're now going to be mass producing and deploying into Belarus. Okay, so they've closed the airspace around Kapustin Yar for the rest of the week through Friday. So potentially Russia's going to launch some kind of massive attack if Trump imposes sanctions or tariffs this Friday, tomorrow. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. And the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, is expected to present a phased plan for the full occupation of Gaza, starting with Gaza City. And we heard reports a few weeks ago that Netanyahu and the Israeli government have wanted to annex Gaza and also the West Bank. Okay, so that's something to keep an eye on. And rumors are circulating that Putin apparently warned Iran that if a political solution isn't reached, the U.S. and Israel may launch a simultaneous attack on Iran. And Trump signed an executive order imposing an additional 25% tariff on India due to purchases of Russian oil. Wow. And Trump said he will be forced to impose 250% tariffs on Indian pharmaceutical companies if they continue to purchase Russian oil. So some big news there. Trump is really trying to squeeze India, and Putin warning Iran that the U.S. and Israel may launch another attack on Iran. And the Indian Foreign Ministry said that the U.S. measures are unfair, unjustified, and illogical, and we will take the necessary measures to protect our national interests. Wow. So India is definitely not happy about that. And the U.S. State Department on Tuesday approved 2 potential sales of military equipment to Ukraine, together worth approximately $200 million. The first sale includes equipment, repair services, and sustainment support for M777 howitzers and related equipment for an estimated cost of $104 million, while the second sale consists of transportation, consolidation services, and related equipment for an estimated cost of $99.5 million. So this is very interesting. And over the last 3 weeks, the U.S. State Department has approved a number of foreign military sales to Ukraine in total worth upwards of $855 million. So the Trump administration has completely done a 180, and they are now totally against Putin. So very, very interesting. And we have a new viral outbreak in China. We're hearing that there are as many as 7,000 cases reported of the chikungunya virus, which is a virus spread by mosquitoes. We're hearing that there has been lockdowns across China, various types of lockdowns. We're hearing that people are being mandatorily quarantined in China, and there's various types of eradication efforts underway right now, including spraying of disinfectant in the streets, much like we saw during the COVID situation. Okay, but we are hearing that some of these measures are very reminiscent of the COVID situation a few years ago. Apparently, China is requiring all infected patients to remain in hospital quarantine under a mosquito net until they test negative for the virus, according to a translation of Chinese news outlet NF News. Authorities are conducting door-to-door home inspections to ensure the elimination of stagnant water where mosquitoes breed, and those who fail to cooperate can be fined or face criminal charges. Wow. Other precautions taken include introducing giant elephant mosquitoes in the region in hopes their larvae will eat the virus-carrying mosquitoes. Wow. At least 5 households had their electricity cut off because they did not cooperate with door-to-door inspections, according to the New York Times. Wow. So this crazy viral outbreak going on in China right now. And we're hearing that P. Diddy's defense team has reportedly reached out to Trump seeking a pardon after his conviction on prostitution-related offenses, a source close to the legal team told NBC News on Tuesday. Asked about pardons in an interview with Newsmax last Friday, Trump said, "They have talked to me about Sean but did not announce any decision." The source close to Combs' legal team confirmed to NBC News that it has been in contact with the Trump administration. The confirmation that the Trump administration has been approached was earlier reported Tuesday by CNN in an interview with defense team member Nicole Westmoreland. A White House official said the White House will not comment on the existence or non-existence of any clemency request. Wow, so P. Diddy asking Trump for a pardon, absolutely insane. And Trump has threatened to deploy the National Guard to Washington, D.C. and federalize the city to control crime. And the Russian Federation wants to form 10 new divisions by the end of the year, according to Ukraine's top general, Alexander Syrsky. A Russian division consists of 12,000 troops, so 120,000 troops. They want to create a massive army and either send them to Ukraine or the Baltics. And we know that in September, in just a few weeks, Russia's going to be conducting a massive exercise, supposedly just an exercise, right on the border of the Baltics with 150,000 troops. And a U.S. Army soldier was arrested for passing classified information on the M1 Abrams tank to Russia in exchange for citizenship. Wow. And over 1,000 firefighters continue to battle a wildfire in California that has over 72,000 acres, prompted evacuation orders, and caused 3 injuries, according to officials. The Gifford Fire, which began last Friday, is situated within the Los Padres National Forest in Solvang, California, impacting those within Santa Barbara and San Luis Obispo counties, officials said. As of Monday, the fire has engulfed 72,406 acres and is only 3% contained. While the flames have been centered around thick brush and rugged terrain, officials said 460 structures were threatened by this wildfire. On Sunday, officials said the fire showed significant growth as it aligned with topographical features, especially in grass-dominated areas. Evacuation orders and warnings are in effect for areas in Santa Barbara and San Luis Obispo counties, and Highway 166 has been closed due to flames burning on both sides of the road, officials said. 3 people have been injured by the wildfire, including 1 civilian who was hospitalized for burn injuries and 2 contractor employees who were injured in a UTV rollover incident, officials said on Saturday. An air quality alert in Cuyama, California, and an air quality watch for the rest of Santa Barbara County will remain in effect until conditions improve. And a small earthquake rocked parts of New York and New Jersey on Tuesday, the second to be felt in the region in just a matter of days. The 2.7 magnitude quake was recorded near Hillsdale, New Jersey, just after noon. According to the U.S. Geological Survey, the center struck more than 7 miles below ground. It wasn't immediately clear if any injuries or damages had been reported. New York City's Emergency Management Agency warned that tremors could have been felt across the Big Apple and noted authorities were monitoring for impacts. The latest earth-rattling quake comes after a magnitude 3.0 quake struck in Hasbrook Heights, New Jersey on Saturday night. So very interesting. Now we know that there's this massive magma chamber that is moving underneath New England right now towards New York City. Okay, it's called the North American Anomaly, and this is very, very strange and very unusual, but there is a big fault line through New Jersey. It's called the Ramapo Fault, and so if you live in that area, you have to be on high alert. And Taiwan has reported that the Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company will be exempt from U.S. tariffs on semiconductors and chips, which, by the way, Trump announced that he's going to put tariffs on all chips and semiconductors coming into the U.S., 100% tariffs on them. And Candace Owens, the far-right media personality now facing a defamation lawsuit from French President Emmanuel Macron, claims President Trump personally intervened to urge her to stop spreading conspiracy theories about the French First Lady's gender identity. Appearing on the Tucker Carlson show last Friday, Owens said Trump called her in February after President Macron visited the White House. According to Owens, the French president used a diplomatic meeting ostensibly about the war in Ukraine to ask Trump to silence her podcast. Emmanuel Macron personally flew to D.C. and asked Trump to ask me to shut up, to just stop speaking about his wife, Owens told Carlson. I was messaged by the intermediary hours after Macron left, maybe even an hour after Macron left, and said, we need to get on the phone with you. Wow. And a major cyber attack has breached the U.S. federal judiciary's case filing system, possibly exposing sensitive data across multiple states. Identities of confidential informants may have been compromised at several federal courts. Wow. And last night, there were 2 Chinese Coast Guard vessels off of Taiwan's southeast coast, which is very uncommon. Typically, the Chinese Coast Guard does not venture out that far off of Taiwan's southeastern coast. But that's the latest breaking news that I have. I might be back later on with more breaking news. I'm going to be monitoring all these situations. Make sure you download my app. Follow me on Twitter and Telegram for the latest updates, especially get my app so you can get instant updates to your phone when things are going down. We do have U.S. nuclear forces on high alert for some reason, and also the tropics are heating up. There's more tropical disturbances now, so we're heading into the peak of the hurricane season. If there's any major hurricane, I'm going to be tracking it and providing updates several times a day. Follow me also on Patreon. You can become a Patreon member and get first access to my updates, and also you can get text format updates. If you're a Patreon member and a silver member on YouTube, you can get text updates. But until the next time, take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps: prepare, practice, and persevere. And before I continue with the breaking news, I wanted to mention the sponsor for this update, which is NYPrepper Supply. Guys, NYPrepper Supply is doing a massive sale on their 3-month emergency food supply. You can get 3 months of emergency food, 2,000 calories a day for just $500. That's $200 off their normal price with free shipping included. This food has a shelf life of 25 years, and it's a variety of different types of food. So if you use the link preparewithNYPrepper.com, you can save $200 on their 3-month emergency food supply. The link is in the description below this video. That's preparewithNYPrepper.com, and the link is in the description below this video.